There's something special about those seemingly small anime moments that leave a massive impact. They slip in between the big set pieces, yet linger in your memory long after the episode ends. One Piece is absolutely packed with scenes like these. They act as catalysts for major plot developments and deep character growth, often hinting at the monumental events still on the horizon. Sometimes they're woven tightly into the central storyline, or the arc in which they occur. Other times, they're like a rich side dish, technically optional, but they elevate the entire experience. Almost every one of them showcases courage, heroism, and unapologetic attitude, the very qualities we gravitate toward in our favorite anime characters. Naturally, every scene on this list is pure, unfiltered badassery. With that in mind, these are the top badass moments in One Piece. Major revelations lie ahead, so consider this your full spoiler warning. And now, without further ado, let's dive in.
一大三千大戦世界
We have the unforgettable moment when Zoro cuts Pica in half. Pica, the shape-shifting powerhouse who can turn an entire country into an extension of his own body, becomes a nightmare for the Straw Hats during the Dressrosa arc. The crew might snicker at his comically squeaky voice, but they are under no illusions. This is one of the top 3 officers of the Don Quixote family, and a threat to be taken very seriously. So when Zoro, who has spent much of his time in Dressrosa wandering off and getting hopelessly lost, finally steps up and cleaves the gigantic stone titan clean in two, it is immensely satisfying. He then escalates the spectacle, carving Pica apart piece by piece and forcing him to abandon his stone shell to reveal his true form. Pica's defeat stands as solid proof of Zoro's rising power and refined swordsmanship. It is another major step on his path toward becoming the world's greatest swordsman. His unshakable belief that there is nothing he cannot cut turns this into one of those scenes that makes you want to leap out of your seat and cheer.
仇に迷惑かけてんじゃねえよ
It is another one-man show, with Law cutting Punk Hazard in half. For all of his lectures to Luffy about the importance of lying low and picking battles carefully, the captain of the Heart Pirates is no stranger to bold, high-stakes plays. Challenging Doflamingo to a fight purely for personal reasons is one such move. Plotting the downfall of Kaido is another. But when it comes to sheer visual flair in combat, nothing tops his dismantling of Vergo and the island of Punk Hazard. Showcasing one of the most imaginative devil fruit powers in the series, Law needs just a single swing of his blade to slice Vergo in half, despite Vergo's entire body being hardened by armament hockey. In the same motion, the facility that manufactures the main ingredient for Dofi's artificial devil fruits and the mountain on which it stands are carved apart beyond repair. It is the kind of moment where you cannot help but be stunned by the surgeon of death and the terrifying precision of his power. Where is he takes on a whole new meaning when an island itself has been rearranged.
もう誰も引き返せねえ
Up next is a similar scene from the Enies Lobby arc, this time with the Straw Hats turning their fury not on the Navy, but on the world government itself. Once again, their motivation is deeply personal. Nico Robin has been captured by CP9, the world government's top secret assassination unit. In response, Luffy and his crew storm Enies Lobby, the supposedly impregnable judicial island that serves as CP9's headquarters. Rarely do we see the entire Straw Hat crew assembled in a single frame, shoulder to shoulder. Most of the time, they are scattered across an an island, handling their own battles and subplots. But here, all of them stand together on the courthouse rooftop, united as they confront CP9 and its arrogant leader, Spondum. The sight alone is enough to send a rush of adrenaline through any fan. Spondum mocks their efforts, boasting that such a small pirate crew is no match for the colossal might of the world government. In response, Luffy simply has Sogeking fire a flaming arrow straight into the government flag. That single blazing shot is a formal declaration of war, proof that Luffy does not hesitate to challenge forces far bigger and stronger than himself when his friends are on the line. The Straw Hats march to Arlong Park to confront Arlong. At this point in the story, the crew is still small, only 4 members strong. This scene unfolds immediately after one of the most heartbreaking moments in early One Piece. The usually brash and confident Nami collapses in tears, begging Luffy to help free her village from the iron grip of the Arlong pirates. In a gesture that speaks volumes, Luffy takes off his treasured straw hat and places it on Nami's head for safekeeping, then rallies his crew, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp, before setting off. The 4 of them stride toward Arlong Park in an iconic walk that feels like it was pulled straight out of a cinematic classic. When side characters Johnny and Yosaku tell the villagers, these 4 men are worth betting their lives on, it is hard not to nod in agreement. In terms of imagery, this moment hits with the same emotional force as the Straw Hats' declaration against the world government at Enies Lobby, or their tearful farewell to Vivi at the end of the Alabasta arc. There is something truly magical about seeing the Straw Hats united in a single frame. For many fans, this was the turning point where they went from merely liking One Piece to outright loving it, and it is easy to see why.
Arlong ってのはドイツだ。悔いはない。
The Marineford arc is the one stretch of One Piece almost guaranteed to leave viewers emotionally shattered, filled as it is with acts of courage, shocking betrayals, and devastating tragedy. It also boasts one of the series' most powerful conclusions, as Shanks arrives during the final clash and brings an end to what has become pointless slaughter. Marineford is a titanic clash between pirates and marines that permanently reshapes the world of One Piece. Thanks to Shanks' intervention, Luffy escapes with his life, Akainu's rampage is halted, countless lives are spared, and the fallen are finally granted the respect and dignity they deserve in death. This is the moment that truly reveals the depth of Shanks' power and influence, a Yonko who has remained shrouded in mystery for years despite being central to Luffy's journey. The fact that Fleet Admiral Sengoku is willing to listen to him, an enemy and a pirate, raises our expectations of what Shanks is capable of in the future. It is also one of the rare times we see Shanks not just as a cheerful mentor, but as the imposing pirate captain he truly is, standing with his ship and crew at his back. Cameo appearances do not get more commanding than this.
まだ暴れ足りない奴がいるのなら来い、俺たちが相手をしてやる。こいつらこれ式で俺は白ひげだ。
Whitebeard's entrance at Marineford is already anime legend, and his death has become even more iconic over time. Yet there is a quieter moment in between that perfectly captures the kind of man he is. There is no honor in ganging up on a single opponent, even one as overwhelmingly powerful as Whitebeard. Nevertheless, the Marines focus all of their firepower on him, throwing everything they have at the towering emperor. Strategically, it makes sense, but it is far from noble. What truly defines heroism here is Whitebeard's response as he stops his crew from rushing to his aid. "I am Whitebeard," he roars. Even with his body covered in scars from a lifetime of battles and cannon smoke curling around his face, those 4 words are enough to make the self-proclaimed upholders of justice look petty and dishonorable. And they are not empty boasts. Whitebeard proceeds to show the Marines exactly who they are up against, and we cannot help but feel a surge of pride watching him stand alone against the world.
お前、その目はなんだい
As you may already know, in One Piece, the Celestial Dragons are not just nobles. They are treated as near godlike beings. Even someone as carefree as Luffy understands that they are off limits, no matter what atrocities they commit. At least, he understands it in theory. But when the idiotic Saint Charlos shoots Hachi during the slave auction, and that dangerous glint appears in Luffy's eye, it is obvious that things are about to go very badly for this so-called noble. Hachi's desperate pleas for Luffy to let it go, even insisting that he deserves to be shot, cannot sway him. Luffy strides forward, closes the distance in an instant, and smashes his fist straight into Charlos's face. One punch is all it takes. Charlos is out cold. Apparently, that fishbowl-like helmet the Celestial Dragons wear does not provide much protection after all. What Luffy does here is audacious even by his standards, especially for someone who habitually does the exact opposite of what he is told. But watching a bully get exactly what he deserves is incredibly satisfying.
And that brings us to Zoro's finest hour in the service of his captain. Realizing that Luffy and the rest of the crew are far too exhausted from their grueling battle against Gecko Moria and his zombie army to stand a chance against Bartholomew Kuma, Zoro chooses to make the ultimate sacrifice. Without the others knowing, the proud swordsman kneels before the warlord and begs him to spare Luffy and the crew, offering himself as payment in their place. Because of the nature of Kuma's devil fruit powers, this means accepting all of Luffy's pain and fatigue into his own body. "I'll show you hell," Kuma warns, reminding Zoro that he may not survive the transfer. Somehow, Zoro endures it. When Sanji eventually finds him, Zoro is standing upright, drenched in blood, surrounded by the remnants of Luffy's suffering. When Sanji demands, "What happened?" Zoro simply replies, "Nothing happened." It is a perfectly understated answer from a man of few words, and yet it speaks volumes. It is one of the many reasons this stoic and fiercely loyal pirate is such a legendary badass. The fact that Luffy still has no idea this ever took place makes the moment even more poignant.
何もなかった。
So there you have it, the top badass moments in One Piece. Which moment do you think stands above the rest? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button. You can also subscribe for more anime content, especially if you are a One Piece fan. There is plenty here that might catch your otaku eye. Make sure to tune in for my next video. Until then, goodbye and stay safe.